Ujai. Welcome to the Tassanet and Sobek experience. Real talk, real time, where their experience is your medicine. Ujai. Y'all know that's my greeting. But also, Shehem Hetep and Heptapu. Heptapu. Heptapu is Hetep, but Hepu means speaking to the whole world community. That means I'm speaking to brothers and sisters that's in America, Great Britain, Africa, London, China, wherever you all are at. Come and let us welcome you to the experience. And today, we're going to talk about, do you got that vibe?
Yes. Do y'all got that vibe? Like, are y'all for real vibing or are y'all just playing? What y'all doing?
Well, today's show is a very important show because it's about something that is the center of all communities. That's the man and the woman. The man and the woman create the family, the community, the nation, the world. So today, y'all, we're going to talk about relationships, particularly black relationships, because a lot of people treat black relationships like it's a foreign object, a new entity, a brand new idea, an exotic animal through all life. I remember when Jason Lyrics came out with Jada Pinkett and Alan Payne, and a lot of white people complained about seeing Alan Payne and Jada Pinkett naked in the bayou of Texas. Me, I saw nothing wrong with that. So in turn, I thought about, the aspect of how people treat black love as if it doesn't exist. So today, we're going to talk about not just love. We're going to talk about relationships, because love has many faces, different degrees. It's a multi-purpose tool that can either be used for the good or the bad of people. But first, let's talk about the one thing that I hear a lot of women talk about, and that's equality. And I want to start off with facts. That's the way to start off a show, with facts. So that way, that we're just not talking out the side of our butt. And put my glasses on. And I want to show you this book by Oba Tashaka. It's called The Return of African Mother Principle of Female and Male Equality, Volume 1. It's written by Professor Oba Tashaka. And I want to read a quick excerpt from it, so let's make it quick. Ethiopia and other African societies were centered around the woman, also because she was the most stable person in the family. It goes further to say that the African man frequently left the village in search of food, while the African woman stayed at home, caring for the children and tending crops. The point that I want to address in this particular part of the book is this. In these society, women did not dominate men, nor did men dominate women. As Dr. Diop noted, and this is a quote, "No evidence can be found either in literature, allegoric, metaphoric, that poetic stuff, or in historical records." Historical being facts, whether they're right or wrong. Historical records, Egyptian or otherwise, relating to the systematic ill treatment of African women by their men. I'll repeat that. There's no history, there's no literature, there's no philosophy, there's no documented time in the ancient traditions of our people, African people, where the man treated the woman as we do today in a patriarchal society. And of course, we all know that a patriarchal society stems from the theft and mutation of African matriarchal society. In other words, African thought mutated by European opinion. Let me repeat that. African thought mutated into European opinion. And we're going to talk about that today. So what do you have to say about that, Queen?
It says a lot. It says when you read the part about the woman stayed behind, and she stayed and dealt with with the home and with the children, and the men went out and hunted and provided for the family. I think in today's society, we've forgotten about our roles as it pertains to the black family. Although the black woman still is working, we work outside the home and we also work inside the home. However, what I have noticed is that, yes, us black women are getting a lot, getting degrees, higher education, we're making more money. And the unfortunate part of it is that we have bought into the lie that, the more money we make, the more powerful we are, more independent, we don't need a man type of thing. That messes us up. And it has messed us up. And I say that because we don't have, I'm not going to say a whole lot of us, but there's quite a bit of black women who don't respect black men. So what, that brother, he may not be making six figures like you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He may be working for the city as as a sanitary or as a janitor.
They still have those?
Or what?
Custodians, janitors?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes, and they pay good money.
I'm just saying.
He may be a bus driver. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so, I feel that we have bought into the lie, that we have lost who we are as African people, and it's unfortunate, particularly, and I'm just speaking for the women because I'm a woman.
But you can't speak for all women, baby.
Not all women, but
Let's
just
be
what
clear.
I have seen and what I have observed, is that we feel that we can do whatever we want to do. We can talk to a brother however we want to talk to him. And that's not cool, because now, just because you're making all this money and you are independent, that's good, but you got to respect the man.
Right. But if I can interrupt for the moment, the aspect is that that's just a small, minute problem. Because the issue is that, how do we relate to ourselves first as a black man and as a black woman, and to broaden the view as a woman and a man? But we're specifically talking about African people. And again, going back to Shaka's book, I want to read another excerpt that explains the process of what has happened as to what my queen has just, elegantly spoke of. And I want to read again verbatim, not my words, but an observation. And that observation is relative by one of our elders. The requirement for the development of manhood and womanhood is the internal synthesis of the masculine and feminine qualities through spiritual growth and through masculine, feminine synthesis of thoughts, words, and actions. Now, you talk about synthesis, you think about your chemical class where you would blend a base and an acid and see how they would react to each other. If they didn't react, if they didn't blend, if they didn't synthesize, explosion. And that's all. But if they synthesize, you'll see a minute response or reaction, and then you come up with the compound that is required. Let me go further. The synthesis of the masculine and feminine elements is different from equal parts. As the Dogon of Malay teach, the male must synthesize or blend the masculine and feminine elements. Fellas, that simply means that we all have an aspect of feminine energy, not in the aspect of how you would see someone who chooses to live the life of a gay male. Infemination, as they try to scare us to death about. We have to understand to blend that. meaning to become whole, to overstand our women, and vice versa, as it says, as it reads further down. The male must synthesize or blend the masculine and feminine elements with the masculine predominating. Be a dude, but be balanced. And it says the female must do the same with the female elements predominating.
Right.
When you look at the power of women, it's not through masculinity.
It's through feminism.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Queen. That's the African way. But let me continue, and then we'll start chopping it up. Synthesis, not balance, of masculine and feminine, pulled equally between masculine and feminine qualities, leading to the lack of sexual and social definition. Now, I know a lot of people speak on the aspect of Ma'at being male and female, or the principle, or the cosmology, of where there's a God, there's a goddess equal in power, or even stronger. Or the aspect of one of the most famous quotes that I hear conscious feminists say, and there are such things as conscious feminists, that the black woman is God. You're giving God in African thought, there's no concept of God because we are the net root. Mm-hmm. We come from the body of Noon. We are all things. We're just not male and just not female. You feel what I'm saying? We need to understand that we are a balance on 2 feet, 2 eyes, 1 pumping heart, genitalia, chest, breathing, hair, eyes. We are a makeup of the nature, the all, the creator. So before we talk about anything of relationship-wise, you need to understand who you are to be involved in a relationship. And I'm not just talking about with the opposite sex, but with the gender sex. When I talk about the gender sex, I'm not talking about romantically, but yet intimately, because there's a closeness, a communal aspect of African living. So now that we got the facts out the way, now that we got the quote unquote, the techno part out the way, let's get into it.
Very eloquently said.
Thank you.
It's important that we understand as black couples, as black people, you don't even have to be in a intimate relationship, but just the mere fact of respecting each other. You know what? I think we've lost that. Just the mere fact of when you walking down the street, because I have done it. I am guilty of it, and sometimes I will not say hi to my brother, or I may not say hi to my sister. And when I do that, and then I think about it, it's like, why didn't I acknowledge them?
Well, like you said, it goes back to the point where before we relate to ourselves on any type of level, how to relate to ourselves individual.
True.
Before you can get into any, that's from, when we talk, I know we're talking about black love and black relationships, but a lot of people tend not to love themselves, or they fall in love with a false image of themselves. Therefore, they fall in a false image of themselves within themselves, and then they fall in love with an image outside themselves, which is equal to themselves, which could be a false image as well.
This is true.
So,
And I was going to make that point.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to interrupt you, baby. I'm so sorry.
That before we can even start to have a healthy relationship with someone else, we have to learn how to have a healthy relationship with ourselves. But, getting back to what I was talking about as for the just the mere respect for each other, we've lost that. Back in the day, because I was born in '71, we had that.
Yeah, had OJ's, Love Train, and we had Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. We had, the staple singers singing, Let's Do It Again, and movies out like, Uptown Saturday Night with Bill Cosby when he was funny, and Sidney Poitier. But yeah, I'm familiar with that.
I know you are. But just the basics of it, just the mere respect, and also being able to come together, as you just. I don't want to make it too complicated, but you standing at the bus stop.
Yeah.
And just being able to, it's just simple stuff that we have lost.
We lost our vibe. Y'all lost your vibe. When I mean lost your vibe, I mean PC, political correctness, ruined us because we have grown to try to adapt somebody else's image. When I was growing up, as the Queen would say, when I was growing up, people had afros. People were, that's what they're trying to do today. People, I used to go into my mother's friends in them house and they have pictures of black love, the positions in the zodiac, the glow in the dark stuff. What I'm saying is you had Soul Train. Everything's promoting black love as a community. We no longer have that as strong as it used to be because my personal opinion is that we're trying to be something that we're not. And I'm not American. It goes to what Karras once said. He said, and it's a quote probably he took too, if you put a cat and kittens in the oven, you don't come out with muffins. You come out with a cat who had babies in the oven. So us being African in America, we have a choice to either identify with American values or we identify with our African values in a multiplicitous society. See, that's the thing about multiculturalism that to me is one of the biggest lies there is. It's like, when I watched that show American Gods and Anansi, the character, Anansi played by Orlando Brown, excellent actor by the way, he said that peace is a beautiful but shitty idea. Because even as, we look at integration was not did for the fact of morality, it was did for profit. So I say this to say that for those of us who are politically aware, culturally aware, somewhat socially aware, that's the aspect we come from. Because there are two different nations of black people in this country. There are those of us who resist all things that are non-African or stand in peace or in line with the universe, or we ride the train. But black people, we need to love each other so we can love ourselves. And we talk about the problem way too much. But now let's break it down to simplicity of a relationship between a black man and a black woman. I've been with a lot of women, I can say that. There's nothing to brag about. But I know that with the black woman, there's something cosmic and magical about it. It fits. You can ask any brother who dated a white woman, ask any brother who dated Latina, Asian, whatever woman he dated outside the melanated sister, and he will tell you, dude, if a sister came along, the right sister came along, I ditched this because I was one of them. In order to relate to ourselves, black people, we got to learn and understand that we are black. Regardless of if Moors say black doesn't recognize the people and I am a Moor, if people keep saying that I've never been to Africa, I was born in Mississippi, in Texas. I was born in Mississippi. But Africa was born on my skin, in my soul. So the first step I always say, if you can identify with who you are, how in the hell can you identify with someone outside of you? Because Iyanla Vanzant said, we attract those who are us on the inside.
Yeah, we attract who we are. And so, as my king was talking, I was, sitting here and I was thinking that a lot of us don't associate or don't want to connect with the Africanness or the blackness.
Lost our vibe.
We've lost our vibe. I am really grateful that I had the opportunity in 2008 to go to South Africa in Cape Town. When I tell you I went to Cape Town, South Africa, that's when it became real that I am African. Because they vibed like us out here in the States. Whenever there was music, we started moving to the rhythm.
That's what's up.
I noticed, even though they were extremely poor, they still found a way to laugh. They still found a way to be resilient. They still had the ability to make nothing out of something. And I said, that's us. And I'm telling you, when I had that opportunity, it really, really put in perspective, I am an African woman. Now that I am have fully embraced it, and then I hadn't even fully embraced it, but just having that experience, and now that I study African spirituality, I have fully embraced my Africanness. I know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that if I had never went to Cape Town, South Africa, that it wouldn't have been so real to me.
Right.
And so the vibe that, has been lost. And in order for us to get back to where we once were, one, we got to vibe with ourselves first.
Right.
And then be able to vibe with our brother and sister, let alone with your man or your woman.
So this show has turned out to be more than just relationships between having your queen and king, having your empress and, your Bey and El, your Masut and your, Neferet. Mm-hmm. It extends backwards to you, how you feel about yourself individually. Feel what I'm saying? We lost our vibe because we lost connection.
Yes.
We're in a country where we worship everything but us.
Yes.
And I'm not just talking about Christianity. We look at, outside of Jesus, no matter how you try to make him black, he ain't. No matter how you try to make Buddha black, so what? No matter how you use the name Elohim or Jehovah or Yahweh, it don't matter. Because if it's not in our image, how can we relate to a deity, a God, a principle? Now, I know we're talking, and we're going to finish we're going to take our last minutes to talk about 3 points that we want to talk about from a book that I love books, y'all. I self-taught. But we have to connect with our culture to connect with our people in our culture. That's why the white woman, regardless if she's dating a black dude, would always be a white chick, no matter how black she act, and vice versa. Because they relate to their culture.
That's right.
That's why I don't hate on people like Asians and Latinos. I don't even hate on the Jews. They may do stuff dirty to us, and take what's ours, and we relate to them and spend money with them, and yet they put nothing to our communities. But they relate on a bigger scale for them to build families. You got Koreatown, Jewtown in Chicago. They used to have a Jewtown where I'm from in Chicago. Now I live in LA. So, you got Little Tokyo, you got Little Ethiopia. Hell, you got even a Russian town, Liberian town, or Armenian, Little Armenia, just like New York. So for us, the aspect of relating one-on-one, we have to relate on a cultural level.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm gonna leave at that point right there. I know that we talked a lot about the bigger, expansion of our vibe, but we have a few points, and it's a book. I believe in books, man. I believe in research and being self-taught. I believe in books. Books are like weapons. The biggest arsenal in the world is a library, and plenty of ammunition with books. But I would love for my queen to talk about a book that we both enjoy.
So this our book that I was actually been studying is the Secret Science of Black and Female Sex by T.C. Carrier, and he has some advice that I really like. And so I'm just going to read off just 3 of them.
And let's talk about them, baby.
And we're going to elaborate on them. All right. The first one is, don't ask your mate for what they are not equipped to give you. Your expectations of them may exceed their capabilities in their present state. Now, what that means is...
What's your opinion?
Well, my opinion.
Yes.
I'm saying what it means to me.
Okay. I thought you were saying what it means. You
Well,
didn't
what
say
it
it.
means to me
There you go.
is I have a perfect example, and it's going to be in my second book. Is I you ask a person to love you in a way that you want to be loved, but they don't have that capability to do that.
Right.
And so then you get mad because they're not loving you the way you expect them to be. But you can't expect someone to give you what they don't have. You can't do that.
Right.
And then that's how you get let down, and then you get hurt.
But how do people attract people like that? Is that how they feel about themselves? You know, they put unexpected, goals or ambitions, or are they placing it on themselves?
I think a lot of times that's what happens. Is
I
that
think so, too.
we put unrealistic expectations on ourselves.
I do
And
it all
then
the time.
and then yeah, I know.
See, I'm a wounded healer, y'all. So I'm not the perfect dude. So
And so do I. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna put it all on my honey, but sometimes I do the same thing too. We have these unexpected or these big goals or that we want to accomplish, and then we don't accomplish them, and then we get mad at ourselves. And it's okay if you don't accomplish it, but don't beat yourself up to the point.
I think so too. If I can speak on that a little further, when we take it out on ourselves,
Right.
we take it out on the person that we choose as our partner, because we really
True.
I think from my experience, having chosen the women that I've chosen, I was looking from the aspect of choosing someone who can do what I don't. And if they didn't do it, then instead of holding myself accountable, I would fuss at them for their lack of effort, which is a reflection of my lack of effort. So that's how I lost my vibe in relationships, with women, period, but particularly with the black woman. So expectations, make them decent. I have learned to put expectations with room for mistakes, because mistakes are simply steps to success instead of stuck like Elmer's glue, which really don't work. So get another point, baby.
All right. So the second point, don't select your mate based on their potential. Oh, now, queens, we got that bad, honey. Potential with no work behind it will always lead to disappointment. If they are lazy in their life's goals and dreams, then they will be lazy in your relationship with them. Love and accept them for who they are now and not what they can become.
Let me
stop right there.
Okay, I was going to jump in, but go ahead.
Honey, let me tell you, you know how we are, Sister Queens. We see a brother and we be like, ooh, I can mold him, I can shape him. I can make him be how I want him to be. No, boo, you cannot. And so what we're looking at is the potential. And especially if he ain't doing no work behind, working towards his goals. And then we get mad because they not living up to what we expect them to be, instead of just loving them and accepting them for who they are. And if you already have your ideal mate of who you want and how you want the guy that you want to attract, then if you know that guy is lazy, right?
Yeah.
And he's not working towards his goals, then why continue to pursue that? Because all you doing is setting yourself up to get hurt. And then you get mad.
Yep.
And then get angry. And
Yep.
then you take it out on the next brother.
Yep.
Go ahead, King.
I have to add on to this, because sisters, you can't make a man do what he really don't want to do.
And that goes for brothers too now.
No kidding, but let's talk about we're talking about sisters right now.
Yes.
Because sisters, women in general, feel they want to they want to save somebody.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of potential, I'm before I met my queen, I met a lot of women before her who dealt with that type of cat, who wanted to be the up and coming, Nipsey, who wanted to be the up and coming entrepreneur, who wanted to be Diddy, or the latest Nino Brown gangster. They had the potential. They did a lot of talk. They had a lot of game. They tricked you out your panties. You know, they got into your crib. They got behind the wheels of your car. That's what potential has. Because I was one of those cats who did that. I played that hustle. Because the more that a woman tried to change me, the more that I took advantage of keeping her off her game and played the victim. Oh man, the white man ain't gonna do this for me. Oh, you know how the system work. You know, and I say this because in the awakened community, conscious, woke, whatever you want to call it, you know, it doesn't escape the natural acts of the lower mind. You cannot escape the lower mind regardless of where you at if you still operate in the lower mind. So women, as a man who used to be chaos in the bad sense, because I'm chaotic in the good sense. I'm not the pretty boy, I'm not the nice dude, I'm the real dude. So I'm gonna put you up on game.
Put him up on
When
game.
when a dude come to you with potential and yet not doing something about it, if you get involved with him, that ain't on that brother, that's on you.
That's right.
And if you heal from that type of brother and you free yourself from that type of brother, healing is the best thing. But I find from my experience and conversations with sisters that y'all healing angry. In turn, you adapt a feminist attitude, regardless if you rock a head wrap, you lock your hair, you natural, you talk about your yoni, the womb woman, all that stuff is good, but the intention behind it is still the aspect that you are healing with an angry heart. And that's not ma'at. That's not nasty. As you know, y'all into that yoga stuff. You know, you cannot operate without the brother. I don't care how hard you can. You try. And you cannot have a baby without a brother, regardless of what feminist older sisters tell you. Because that's not the way of our people, and that's the way of our ancestors, and that's the way of the energy we come from. So if you let a dude who you knew wasn't going nowhere after 3 months, and you done dropped your drawers, done let him into your house, done drive your car into the family, and he turned out to be a bad person, suck it up and cut him loose because it's not worth the cost. And I'm saying that as a dude. Stop trying to change a brother. Matter of fact, not even a brother. Stop trying to change a nigga. Because that's not going to happen. Because I was once that type of nigga. And that's real talk, y'all. So that's why we're talking about getting your vibe back. We got one more very important point, and I like this point.
All right,
But you should keep the book open so you won't have to, you know.
Okay.
It'll
All
be
right.
easier, right? Anything?
Treat your relationship like a Wall Street investment.
Read that part one more time.
Treat your relationship like a Wall Street investment. If you do not make a profit off your investment, get rid of it and invest your time and energy into another stock. Never blame the stock for your losses or disappointments.
Read that.
Never blame the stock for your losses or disappointments. Blame your poor judgment that initially invested in the stock in the first place. Now.
Oh, okay. Can I go first on this one? You
Okay,
went
go
first
ahead.
last time.
Go ahead, King.
To continue my talk about sisters who are healing from bad brothers. You heard that, right? Invest in your relationship like you would invest in Wall Street. Not a third tier investment, not a second tier investment, but a first tier investment. Second and third tiers are nothing but penny shares that take time. And a lot of us don't have time. Our people don't have time for brothers with potential who are not operating on their potential, who act like they're penny stocks instead of tier one stocks, and you wasting your time. Again, ladies, sisters, you cannot change. Same thing with that movie with Rex Morgan. My Fair Lady with Audrey Hepburn, where the dude took a woman off the streets and molded her. When you see Pretty Lady with Julia Roberts and Richard Gere, where you know the hoe becomes a lady. When you look at Anna Marie, what was her name? She's dead, but she's dead.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Married
the
an old dude, you know, saying I love him. The dude's in a wheelchair, can barely breathe. You see what I'm saying? We're not talking about that type of investment. We're talking about what you would invest.
Right.
You know, if you're a shallow woman or a shallow dude, you're gonna attract and create a shallow ripple effect.
Right.
if a brother is coming in, and I'm not talking about brothers who come out of incarceration or people who are coming from below. Those people are serious about their recovery and their work. I'm saying treat your relationship, your potential relationship, as if you are investing millions and millions of dollars.
That's right.
Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you letting me have my say.
Yeah, because you know, ladies, you know how it is when we get with a dude, and you know we like I invested all this time, you know, and he still ain't changed. I said give him the 90-day rule, boo. You know, give him the 90 days. You know what I mean?
I give him 2 weeks.
Well, you know, 90 days. My king says 2 weeks, but 90 days. If the person is not a man of their word, then you know it's time to move on, because all what's going to happen is that you're going to build resentment, and you're going to be mad, you're going to be frustrated, and then it's going to end in chaos.
Yes.
And why put yourself in a situation where it ends in chaos when it could just end peacefully? That's why it's important that you invest in yourself first, that you become the person that you want to attract.
Grow up.
You know what I mean?
Grow up.
I had to do that, and I'm still doing that, you know, because it's important that even though you're in a relationship, that you continue to invest in yourself as well.
Yes. But also, exactly, invest in yourself. A lot of women and men, but a lot of women, because a lot of dudes prey on women. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm not saying all dudes, but a lot of dudes prey on that woman to stay where she at. And if a man or a woman, but I'm speaking for men, sisters, if a brother does not want you to progress, if you tell a brother you're going to school and he like, oh, what for? That should put you on pause. See, everything is on you. You want power, then emphasize your power by being empowered, by not healing through anger. We could go on forever on this topic.
Yes, we could.
But we don't want to keep y'all, but we can always talk about it again. So put your comments as well as subscribe to us. Put up, whether you like this particular segment. Segment, whatever. Like us or not like us. Offer us compliments or criticism. Constructive criticism keeps you tight.
Absolutely.
You feel me?
And we appreciate you, family.
Yes,
we really
family.
Appreciate all the supporters. And like, subscribe, and share.
Exactly.
And until next time, Sha'im Patel.
Uncle Ujasinel. I'm Merz D for y'all. We love y'all. Peace.